Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Government House, Yarralumla. Dawa Nuna, Dawa Nunawel. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Nunawel people, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present, emerging leaders, and any other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders that may be with us this afternoon. My name is Paul Singer and I'm the Official Secretary to the Governor-General. And as this badge signifies with its cross quills, I'm also Secretary of the Council for the Order of Australia, the council which makes recommendations to the Governor-General, who is both Chancellor and Principal Companion of the Order. I'm also the Secretary of the Australian Bravery Decorations Council, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for Bravery Awards. Before we start today's ceremony, I'd like to acknowledge that despite the challenges posed by the current pandemic, we are delighted to be able to host this afternoon's ceremony in a COVID-safe manner. We're grateful for your understanding of and compliance with the measures that we've put in place to ensure everyone's safety. Today is a special day, not only for the recipients, but also for the friends, the family and their communities. It is a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. The Australian Honours System provides a wonderful mechanism through which we as a nation can recognise and celebrate ordinary Australians doing extraordinary things. Since its inception in 1975, over 420,000 people have been recognised for their bravery, meritorious, military or national service. The Order of Australia is the principal means of recognising outstanding service. And it's important to note that nomination comes from all parts of the community. Anyone can nominate. As staff at Government House, my colleagues and I are privileged to play a small part in the recognition and celebration of that achievement. I hope that we can make this afternoon a special occasion that you'll remember with pride for some time to come. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand as Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley enter the room and ask that you remain standing for the singing of the first verse of the Australian National Anthem. The investiture will then begin and proceed in the order listed in your programs. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter the room from the doorway on my right, and after they've been invested by the Governor-General, will exit via the central aisle to take up their seats at the back of the room. At this point, you might like to show your appreciation with a short applause as the recipients return to their seat. At the conclusion of the ceremony, I'll invite all of the recipients to join with Their Excellencies on the state entrance stairs for an official photograph. And after those photographs have been taken, Their Excellencies and the recipients look forward to joining with all guests in the dining room where refreshments will be served. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please relax and enjoy this very special afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, would you please stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, Mrs Hurley, and remain standing for the singing of the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is kept by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you. Please be seated.
A very warm welcome to you all this afternoon from Linda and I and the staff at Government House at Yarralumla on a very important day in our national calendar when we recognise the contributions to our nation, to our communities of quite a number of perhaps nervous recipients at this moment. I should begin by acknowledging that Government House at Yarralumla sits on the land of the Ngunnawal people, and I do thank them for caring for this beautiful part of our country for generation after generation. and pay respects to their elders, past and present. This is an important occasion, and you'll have noted that there's a degree of pomp and protocol, but that is as it should be. As I say, one of the most significant days in the calendar for us here at Government House, and where we're recognising what makes our country tick. Our Honours and Award system was introduced in 1975 to replace the Imperial Award system. It has one at least characteristic about it, which I think is absolutely critical to it, and that is in the general or the civilian division of the Honours and Award system. Nominations come from the community. They come from peers. They come from those we rub shoulders with on the streets. And it is not a system where elites in Canberra or our national capitals look down and say, oh, someone's doing a good job. We should recognise them for that. I'd like you to bear that in mind as we look at the range of activities that people are being acknowledged for today. Because at the conclusion of the ceremony, I'm going to issue you with some homework. Now, the children didn't expect that today, nor the adults, but please watch carefully. Over the last 4 or 5 years, the time Linda and I were at Government House in Sydney, and indeed the last 12 months of this year, Australia's been through a difficult time. Severe drought that affected much of the eastern states and southern parts of Western Australia. Big, huge floods in northern Queensland. Water the size of Victoria developed in 11 days and washed into the Gulf. Our own floods down in this region. An horrific bushfire season that's still very strong in our memories. And of course, now the challenges of coping with a pandemic. Each of those by themselves would be a challenge enough for a country and its people. But to have that compounded in such a short period has really tested it. Now, Linda and I haven't been able to travel as freely as we would like over the last 3.5 months, and we've been using every known virtual meeting app there is to reach out to Australians at work, at play and leadership roles to determine how the community is faring. After each of those conversations, we come away reinforced in our view of the strength of this country, the strength of character of its people, the goodness of its people. And you might say I'm an optimist. Well, I am an optimist, that we will get over and through these challenges and we will do it well. And we will see why as we go through or proceed with the ceremony today. This is sort of a microcosm, the tip of the iceberg, to be cliched, of what happens in our community. But it is a strong community, it's a good community, and it's a great day to be able to reflect on that, to celebrate and to spend time with you all. So on that note, I will now commence the formal ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, to be presented with the insignia of his appointment as an officer in the General Division, Mr. Francis Sullivan, for distinguished service to the community, particularly through social justice and legislative reform initiatives, and to health and aged care. Mr. Sullivan's contribution to public life over a career of more than 40 years has been substantial. This was demonstrated through his internationally prominent role in tackling the protection of children from abuse, particularly in church and institutional settings. He worked tirelessly as the head of the Truth, Justice and Healing Council of the Australian Catholic Church and remained steadfast in his support of the rights and needs of survivors of abuse. He was the primary architect of the unique redress model, which will significantly help to improve accountability and support into the future. Mr. Sullivan is deeply committed to social justice and the common good, and he continues this commitment through the leading contributions to the provision and delivery of healthcare services to the community. Mr. Francis Sullivan, appointed an Officer of the Order.
Mr. Sullivan, it's a great privilege and honour to present this to you today. You've been a great voice, a great warrior for those who needed a voice in our community, those who suffer deeply, and to rectify in our institutions errors of the past and to make a better future for us all. So thank you for being such a strong and stalwart advocate for all those who need at that time. So thank you very much.
Thank you. To be presented with the insignia of her appointment as a member in the General Division, Ms Katherine Wood, for significant service to the superannuation sector, to women and to trade unions. Ms Wood is a passionate advocate for improving women's economic security in retirement and has worked with utmost dedication to create awareness of the superannuation challenges facing women. Under her leadership as the Chair of Women in Super, the organisation has played a vital role in the professional development of women in the industry and in campaigning for superannuation rights. Her vision and strategic focus are such that she is highly respected as a commentator on issues relating to women and gender equality more broadly. In 2007, she started the Canberra chapter of the Mother's Day Classic Walk and Run for breast cancer research. The event has been highly successful and continues to this day. Ms Wood is one of those people who gives selflessly of her time and knowledge to build a better world for future generations. Ms Katherine Wood, appointed a member of the Order.
It's really a great privilege and pleasure to present you with this award. And thank you for your leadership in a time of transition in our society where you've put everything away for women. We have to carve out a future forward. And particularly in the financial area, it's been there and still a great leader. So thank you for your leadership.
To be presented with the insignia of her award of the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mrs Wendy Moore, for service to the international community of Nepal. Mrs Moore has provided unstinting voluntary commitment and support to disadvantaged women in Nepal. Utilising her skills and experience as a polymer clay artist, she has taught vulnerable women to make marketable jewellery, which now sells in Australia, the United States and in Europe. Through her dedication, she has empowered women to become managers and owners of a viable and successful social enterprise. The funds generated have greatly improved the lives of the Nepalese community and have enabled vocational training programs in income-generating activities to be provided. Her work has also greatly strengthened Australia-Nepal people-to-people linkages. Mrs Moore is a model of generous humanitarian service. Mrs Wendy Moore, awarded the Medal of the Order.
Congratulations and great privilege and for those you know well know, it's such a beautiful country. But that's something that has people in difficult circumstances. Thank you for your leadership and giving them an economic route to a better life. So well done. Congratulations.
To be presented with the insignia of her award of the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Ms Vasily for service to the arts and cultural heritage. Ms Nihas has been a stalwart of the visual and performing arts sector in Canberra. Her expertise across diverse art forms and her interest in education, ethics and cultural diversity have been warmly welcomed by many cultural organisations. She has made an outstanding contribution through extensive work on a voluntary basis, including on the National Heritage Collections Council, the Cultural Facilities Corporation, and in her current role as Chair of M16 Artspace. She's also provided her knowledge and experience to a range of multicultural organisations, including the National Multicultural Festival and the Federation of Ethnic Communities Councils of Australia. Ms Nihas has added much to the cultural fabric of our nation. Ms Vasily Nihas awarded the Medal of the Order.
It's a great honour and pleasure to present you with this medal. David Ballou said Australia is not a finished product, and you have been a great instrument in building a real and multicultural community. Thank you for what you've done both here in Canberra and nationwide. You've been a leading one. Congratulations.
To be presented with his insignia of his award of the Medal of the Order in the Military Division, Wing Commander Stephen Parsons. For meritorious performance of duties in very important persons operations at Air Mobility Control Centre and in the provision of air-based support and cultural reform as Commanding Officer of No. 13 Squadron, Royal Australian Air Force. Wing Commander Parsons has provided superior service to the Royal Australian Air Force during a career of over 33 years. As Staff Officer VIP Operations, he demonstrated organisational flexibility during the planning, coordination and conduct of VIP flying operations during the 2016 federal election. While Commanding Officer at No. 13 Squadron, he was key to infrastructure renewal and improvements to the reliability and safety of defence fuel installation and aircraft arrestor systems. Wing Commander Parsons' devotion to duty has significantly enhanced Air Force's capability and its reputation. Wing Commander Stephen Parsons awarded the Medal of the Order. To be presented with the insignia of his award of the Commendation for Distinguished Service, Lieutenant Colonel Mark Gilchrist. For distinguished performance of duties in warlike operations as the Chief of Intelligence Plans, Headquarters Resolute Support, whilst force assigned to Operation High Road from 24th July 2018 to 3rd of May 2019. Lieutenant Colonel Gilchrist's achievements have improved understanding and decision-making and have also advanced Australia's reputation with the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation, the United States of America, and Afghanistan. He developed and led the implementation of an evidence-based report that fundamentally changed the way the force understood the Taliban. The report filled a knowledge gap and accelerated operational planning and execution. He also enhanced Afghan military strategy by providing numerous briefs to the Afghan National Security Council. Lieutenant Colonel Gilchrist's accomplishments earned him an outstanding reputation in Afghanistan. Lieutenant Colonel Mark Gilchrist awarded the Commendation for Distinguished Service.
Congratulations. Visited Afghanistan in December. President Gilmour Prime was praised for contribution to Australian forces there, and you were very much part of last night. Really well. So congratulations.
To be presented with the insignia of his award of the Conspicuous Service Medal, Petty Officer Jonathan Booth. For meritorious devotion to duty in Navy technical and leadership positions at sea and ashore. Petty Officer Booth directly contributed to Navy's capability at sea and ashore through improvements to the Cape-class patrol boat technical documentation and renewal of the shore power system at HMAS Creswell. He comprehensively reviewed the Australian Border Force Standard Operating Procedures for shore power and distribution, and then developed these procedures into the Navy Seaworthiness Framework. Petty Officer Booth has directly enhanced Navy capability and through his efforts has had a positive impact on the retention of junior sailors. Petty Officer Jonathan Booth awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal.
Mr. Booth, congratulations. Great honour to present this to you. You're worth your weight in gold. You've done good service and I think that particular one is true. And the outcomes you've achieved. So well done. Congratulations.
To be presented with the insignia of his award of the Australian Police Medal, Detective Inspector Stephen Ladd. For distinguished service to the Australian Federal Police, particularly in the areas of criminal investigations and missing persons. Detective Inspector Stephen Ladd has displayed exceptional dedication to ACT policing for over 18 years. He's served in a range of areas including investigations, child protection, drug and organised crime squads and the ACT Watch House. While serving in the Policing Investigative Intelligence Section, He worked with the National Missing Persons Coordination Centre and international partners to raise awareness of the benefits of managing investigations using a coordinated approach. Detective Inspector Ladd has shown deep commitment to the ideals and values of the AFP and to the safety of the community of the Australian Capital Territory. Detective Inspector Stephen Ladd awarded the Australian Police Medal.
Congratulations. Thank you, first of all, for the service. But more importantly, as we know with the police, you're on the often on the digital part of life in our community. We don't see a lot of it. We read about it, but you're being behind and change so many things and protect us on a daily basis. So thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations.
To be presented with the insignia of his award of the Emergency Services Medal, Mr. Ross Constable, for distinguished service to Marine Rescue New South Wales. Mr. Constable is a valued member of Marine Rescue New South Wales at Narooma, where he served for over 20 years. He displays the highest level of professionalism and leadership, particularly in his operational role as a rescue vessel master. He has led numerous challenging search and rescue operations in response to traumatic emergencies, including a number of fatalities in offshore coastal waters. His training efforts in all aspects of seamanship have seen Marine Rescue Narooma achieve a notable standard of operational excellence. Mr. Constable has demonstrated outstanding commitment to the community of New South Wales through saving lives on the water. Mr. Ross Constable awarded the Emergency Services Medal.
Congratulations. And you know, that thousands of cameras head down your way every year.
I do, Your Excellency, yeah.
And they can do that in safety because your organisation is a brilliant organisation and volunteers like you just really carry on. So thank you for all the safety features you've introduced in that area and also the lives you've saved. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that concludes the presentations for this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have acknowledged each of the recipients individually. I think it would be appropriate now to acknowledge them as a group. Please join me. Right, now to your homework. You'll have noticed, particularly in the General Civilian Division of the Order, the range of activities that we've acknowledged today, and of course it will be broader and in a larger setting that we normally would be experiencing, you would see more of it. The point of that is, though, you know in your community, in your suburbs, in your towns, people who are doing similar work, people who are making the same or better or wider contributions. We need you to nominate. The system cannot operate without your nomination. Of course, we can steer it, drive it from this level, but it must have your nominations. You'll have also noticed, a bit distorted in the size again of the ceremonies we're conducting at the moment. And if you look at our annual figures, only about 40% of our recipients are women. That's not good enough, and we need to improve that. And our multicultural Indigenous representation is not as good as it should be. So bearing those things in mind, please, those watching, those here today, we need your nominations. I intend to love to mark your homework by watching people come through that door in a year or two's time. So in your hands, please pass that message back in your community. Linda and I now look forward to meeting you all in the dining room following a short break, and Paul will describe what will happen. But it's a real delight to share this afternoon with you all. And I should apologise, I forgot to mention right at the start that we're not only just acknowledging the recipients today, but we're acknowledging all the families that support them. Linda and I know that this is a team effort, and we do thank all those here today who have supported our very worthy recipients. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, To assist with the homework that the Governor-General has issued, I do encourage you to look at the Governor-General's website, where you'll find plenty of information on how to nominate someone that you think is worthy for recognition within the Order of Australia. As the Governor-General said, we look forward to welcoming those successful people through these doors at an investiture such as this in the years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, shortly I'll invite you to stand for the departure of Her Excellencies and the recipients as they proceed to the state entrance for an official photograph. After that, their Excellencies and the recipients will join with you in the dining room where refreshments will be served. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the departure of Her Excellencies, the Governor-General, Mrs Hurley, and the recipients. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much. I now invite you to follow Lynette, who will accompany you through to the dining room where refreshments will be served. Thank you and a very good afternoon.